2. A guide for beginners, Elite Dangerous, how to start on your way and make money. This is part 3 of my video that I've put together for people who are trying to make a bit of money as they get going in the game. So, by the time you're here, you should have made your 1.5 million credits. And what you're going to do now is you're going to go to the new ship build, which is here. This will be in the notes below, as usual. You're going to go for the lightweight alloys, which are already in there, as I do believe. The 2D power plant, 2D thrusters, 2A frame shift, 1D life support, 1D power distributor, 4D sensors, 4C fuel tank, 2A fuel scoop, 1C advanced discovery scanner, and a detailed surface scanner. And those are the things that you really need. You've got one slot empty there. And if you want for luxury, you can fill that up with a docking computer if you want. You don't need to, but you want to. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your galaxy map. You're going to go 4 tabs along to this nice little star thing here. What you want is you want these first few stars up until probably K, I think, and there's a reason for this. And you're going to want to untick all of the others, absolutely every single one of them. So you only want in these ones here. Now you can choose M and L. They are both scoopable. They are scoopable as well, but they scoop at a much lower way, and your ship can get a bit too hot getting to them sometimes, I think. So I'm selecting those as kind of a safety barrier. Okay. Now, second thing you need to, or should I say the second thing you want to go to, is this web page, which is alphaorbital.com Pathfinder. This is a list of, if I remember rightly, 400? Yeah, 400 plus, not 500 plus now, stars. All scannable, and you're able to make money from them all. So you're going to go out and scan all of these. If you want to scan them all, you scan them all. You don't have to scan them all. But first thing you want to do is click the copy button here. Okay. And then back inside the game, you want to go over to your first tab. Oh, sorry, your second tab. And in search, paste it. Press return, and there you go. It will give you that star. Now you want to plot a route. Okay. And it will give you a route. Now if you go back, it tells you here how many jumps you've got. And I've got 12 jumps, which is quite a long time, but I'm going to go all the way with you in this video because it's the way to do it, to show you to the first one. If I had some video equipment, I'd probably do a jump, but I'm going to give you a few tips as I get out of there. Okay, so just before we set off, I want you to make sure you have your external lights on. Okay, and you're now ready to launch and go towards your first destination. Okay, now the one thing you want to do is in your fire groups is set your advanced discovery scanner to a fire button. And I normally use my secondary one because it's just easier for me to use that one. Okay, and then you're ready to launch. Again, as usual, you've got 5 minutes to get out the station, so although I'm going to blast out fairly quickly, you don't need to. You can just take your time and do it as you see fit.
Detach is good. You are go for departure.
You want your engine set to full. And when you want to boost away until that mast locked button in the bottom right hand corner has disappeared. When it disappears, you can make your first jump. Now as it counts down 4, 3, 2, 1, I want you to pull back on your accelerator stick, or just pull your acceleration back to 0, whichever button you've got that assigned to. So you would do that now. What that means is when you drop into the next sun, you're going to have little to no acceleration. You're going to come to an almost complete stop. Now, just to the northeast of your radar, you've got this kind of navigation thing with a little blue bubble almost close to center. Okay, now when you arrive in a system, you should always press the system scan button, which, if you remember, you have set to your second fire button. This is called a honk. This tells you how many planets are in the system. It says 3 astronomical objects in this system. You go to system map, and yes, there is. There's this star that you've flown in on, and 3 extras. Now, they're all worth something and you can scan them, but to be honest with you, if you're getting on the road to riches and you really want to make money, let's actually miss them out. Now, if you line up that little blue dot I was on about in the compass into the center, you'll actually see that it's tagged there, and it's on the other, pretty much on the other side of the sun. So what do we do now? Well, now we want to scoop some fuel. So you're going to aim your ship down slightly, just so that that center dot, if you've got it, if you haven't got that, you can actually, where it says secondary and D scanner, there's a little line in the middle. As long as that line is pretty much where it is now, with a tiny bit of the sun at the top of the cockpit, you can start to go forward. You'll see it like an orbit line almost appear around the sun. You don't want to go inside that, you want to stay just outside of it. And as you do that, you're going to start scooping fuel. You can speed up to about half speed, I think, maybe just a bit less than half speed. But with this fuel tank you've got, it doesn't take long to do it. And then once you hear it fuel scoop complete, you can fly off around the other side. Now you can hear I'm taking critical temperature damage. You can actually take a ton of temperature damage. It's really not something you should worry about too much. You don't want to pass that line because you'll drop out of the hyper jump that you're in, or hyper, I can't remember what they call it now, hyper cruise. You don't want to drop out of that, so you've always got to keep below, well below that yellow line. But as long as you're scooping, you're doing well. Once you clear, and I say you get to a temperature of around 45, which is just to the right of that little navigation, did I say navigation? Compass, should I say? Just to the right of it, there's a number. At the moment it says 34. That's your current temperature. So you can, once it gets down to about 45, you can actually jump again. You should be alright. You can, sometimes you'll see some flashing lights. There'll be a bit of a disco in your cockpit, but you're really not going to do any serious damage there. Remember, pull back on the throttle. And don't forget to do that. This is something you might miss it a few times, and you've got to get into the ability to pull it back every single jump. Now I'm going to show you another little trick later on. When you drop in, immediately look at that compass, swing your ship around so that you've got plenty of space with you in the sun, and then continue on. While you're fuel scooping, do your system scan. Complete your system scan. So I've got one new object, so it's going to be another sun if there's only one object in there. Let it finish scooping. Get clear of the sun. As you can hear, it says temperature critical. I've not yet got the disco lights, but they're not far off if you keep going at that rate. Move up. Make sure that's down to about 45. So I can jump at 46. I think I'll be all right. Now this time I'm not going to pull back on the throttle. You should pull back on the throttle at the beginning just to keep yourself safe, but I'll show you pretty much how to do it. When you drop in, you want to immediately look at the compass, and you want to position your ship around kind of like where the dot is, but you want to be doing it on the side of the sun, just so you get a bit of a clearer jump. So I'll do it a bit faster here. I'll show you as I come in and drop in a couple of seconds. There you go. So it's the other side. So I'm going to point towards it. I'm going to flip my ship around, and then I'm going to start scooping fuel. I didn't quite go slow enough. I did keep my speed up maybe a bit too fast, so I've slowed it down just to get the fuel scoop, the full scoop, sorry. Now I'm going to get clear. So you can start now doing this thing where you're doing it kind of by How can I put it? Let's try it at 50% on the Sidewinder. I want to save you as much time as possible getting to your destination. So I've got 9 jumps left. Don't forget to scan your system. Oh, I didn't scan it that time. You have to scan every system and not forget it. I might have scanned it actually when I was doing the fuel scoop. It's kind of a 3-step thing for me. I position the ship, then I scan, and then I finish the fuel scoop. So I spin it around. Scanning the system already. There you go, I've got 13 new objects. You're going to get paid for all of those objects. Every last one of them you get some money for. Now when you do a honk, which is what that's called, you don't get paid a ton of money for them, so don't be too excited at this point in time. Oh, we'll wait till we get down to 50 degrees. There we go. So as I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stick with you for the entirety of this video. So just so you can see me go through the absolute process of scanning at least 1 or 2 bodies. So you can see the way I'm doing it now. I'm now kind of in a rhythm of getting the scan, getting the fuel scoop, getting clear of the planet. Waiting for it to go down to 50 degrees. Now when you get in bigger and better ships, you don't even need to wait for that that temperature thing to go down. But each ship has a tolerance, and the Sidewinder's tolerance is pretty low. So you see there's no astronomical objects in this place. I'm going to go down, pull away from the star. I've only got 6 jumps to go now. So as I say, for the first few stars you really want to take it slowly, just, you know, just get used to it. I'm just trying at 55 degrees now, because it's been so long since I've been in the Sidewinder. A little bit of overheating is never bad. No, see, I can jump faster now, I think. 55 I might be able to do it, but you've got to be careful, because some of the stars they're a bit hotter, so... But you'll always know when to slow down a bit, because you'll have sparks coming off. That's when you face away from the sun. Position again, scan. You've got 16 objects there. Even for a honk, that's a lot of money. So this is just showing you that even in a Sidewinder you can do discovery stuff. You don't need to be in a fancy ship, you don't need to be in a big ship. So again, you're dropping in, find your position for the next planet, scan, go back to about half speed for the time being until your fuel scoop's full up. You can follow the curvature of the sun as well with that line until you get your scoop up. Now this is going to be your first trip out, okay? So I'm gonna show you a couple of things that you can do, and then I'll end the stream. But okay, so again, I'm just gonna find our spot. Oh, might be going a bit too fast there. Okay, we're going to pull away. Just give me a moment while I go away from that sun. Up onto the next one. Now I'm just pulling away from the sun because while I'm doing this I'm trying to load a web page at the same time, and that's not an easy thing to do while you're doing other things as well, but it's just so I have it ready for you to see once we start scanning, and then we can work on the next part of it. Now lucky for you people, you're not going to spend forever in the Sidewinder, so these jumps, the length of these jumps are quite small. At the moment my highest jump range is 20 light years, which really isn't far. It's not a short distance by any point, but it's certainly not far either. Now when you're exploring, you always want kind of a pad and pen around, just so you can take some notes, so you know pretty much how much money you're making, because it's really important in these early days to know exactly how much money you've got, because that'll allow you to upgrade to your next ship as soon as possible, really. If you don't know exactly what you've scanned, you don't know exactly how much money you're going to have when you're able to cash it in, so we're just going to wait for that that to fall, and the next jump is our target system, HIP 14976. Now if I remember rightly, if we just have a quick look over back on there while it starts to jump, there's going to be 3 different scannable places in this: A7, A5 and A6, it says in the planet section. So we're going to go in and scan them. Now here's the caveat: I've done the Road to Riches, so these planets won't be scannable for me, but I'm still going to show you at least how to scan the first planet. Okay, so we're going to come in off the sun. Don't forget to fuel scoop. Just because you're in your destination doesn't mean you have to fill your tank up for when you leave. So you want to just fly around that star, set yourself away for it, wait until in the radar it goes yellow, because when you're very close up it's red, and then it goes yellow. Okay, now you clear the sun, you're not going to be taking on any heat here. You're going to be dropping heat. Then you want to go into your system map, and if we go back to the list, and a second, it says A7, A5 and A6. Now you might think, well, why is it saying for me to go to planet 7 first? A is the planet, B, so if there's B there'll be, sorry, is the sun. If there's a B, that'll be the second sun. If there's a C, the third sun, and so on. And then the number after that will be the planet. So A7, if we go back into the game, we can see that it's A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you'll see here, then you click that one, and it will become available in your little compass thing there, and you're going to fly towards it. Now here's the big difference. If you look on my left, to the leftist point of the globe, so there's that globe, it looks a bit fuzzy, but just to the left of that it'll say HIP 14976A7 Anarchy Waterworld. Okay, now when you first arrive, that's going to say unexplored because you haven't scanned it yet. So what you want to do is full power and fly towards it. And you remember that rule I was saying, when it gets down to 7 seconds you pull back and so on and so forth. Okay, so you're going to fly towards it, and above that timer there is the light seconds. That's how many light seconds you have to arrive to it, and then that becomes very important as well. So we'll just, the timer underneath it, that's currently in the 30 mark. We're going to wait for that to go down to 7. And you pull back about half speed, and then when it's clicking down like 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, right about now it will start scanning the planet. Now it depends on the distance, sometimes it's closer, sometimes it's not, it all depends, but it will start scanning that planet. And once you hear the scanner, and I'm going to give you the noise of the scanner in a minute, you slow down completely. You don't need to go any further because it's scanning. You don't have to fly right up to the planet or anything. You wait until it's scanned, it'll tell you it's scanned, and then you will move on to the next one. So for example, the next one in the list was A5, and then after that A6, so we know we've got to go to A5. I might not have actually done A5, which is interesting. Whoops, that's the wrong one. System map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. Oh, I have, but for some reason it wasn't showing up. Why isn't it showing up? Oh yeah, it is. It's showing up there. I just hadn't done it. Okay, so you're going to scan them. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to show you one that I haven't scanned, because I want... Oh, that's not going to do the trick. Let's have a look on the system map. Let's see if I can... I think I've scanned all of these actually. Dynamic. Okay. I could do it with a second sun, I suppose. Yes. It's not going to take a ton of time to get there. It's going to take some time. But because it's a sun and it's so big, it might start scanning it sooner anyway. The only difference I'm going to say... Oh, you're still looking at the other screen, so it doesn't matter anyway, but I need to go back to that anyway. I'm going to tell you now that on some of these there's a huge distance, and I'll give you a really good example. If I go down the list, there you go. So this one, number 57, 24.22 light years, HIP 20626, and it says B1 is 238,000 light seconds. Don't do it. The one below it is 100,000 light seconds, and that's pushing it. Those are water worlds, so I'd probably grab them. But for example, 100,000 light seconds for high metal content, no, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't go that far. I think you're wasting your time. So just stick to the ones under 100,000 light seconds, and really just calculate the distance anyway, about how comfortable you feel going to it and how comfortable You don't. Right, I'm going to come back into the game. So sorry I left you on that page for so long, but... And sometimes you will have a long flight like this, so, you know, I think 100,000 light seconds takes you, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. You gauge what you feel comfortable with for the amount of money. If you're a perfectionist and you want to scan everything, scan everything. What you do want to do is have a pen and paper and write these values down, which is a water world is 700,000 minimum. A high metal content is 400,000, and an earth type is, I think, something like, I can't remember, I've actually got them here. An earth type is 670,000. Okay, so a water world and an earth type are kind of worth the same amount. In that hollow planet that I call it, next to the compass, at the moment you can see it looks like a sun, so it's very easy to see. The water worlds will look like an almost blank ball, like a fuzzy blank ball. The high metal contents generally have lines across them, or two big kind of black patches, a bit like a moon or something, or a bit how we see the moon, a little bit. And then your earth types will look kind of earth-like-ish. You'll see continents and whatnot in there with mixed in with water, but parts of water. I'll show you them in the... There you go, it starts scan. So you hear that sound. When it says scanning, you pull back on the throttle. You don't need to go any further or do any more. You'll see it scans it. It might take a bit longer because I'm at quite a distance from it. So. Okay, that's the information. Okay, so once that sound stops, you can move on to the next planet. Always don't do it in this, because all of these celestial bodies change position based on different things. Okay. So whatever you do, don't do it in there. Always go into your system map, like it says A5, A7, A5, A6, and you do it in that. You scan it in that order. Okay, that's the good news. You're going to be making money. Now, as I say, every one that you scan, you're going to log it because you want to know how much money you've made, and this is when you make the decision when to go home and sell this data. Now. I am, even to finish off the video, I am going to show you how to sell the data, but in order to do that I just need to quickly go into eddb.io, because I need to find a station. Crapola. The wrong one. Give me a second. That's another piece of data. So you need to go back into eddb.io, click stations, and then you click your you put your current system as a reference, and then it will give you the closest place to fly to, and luckily mine is very close. I think it's only one jump away. Yes, one jump away. Just make sure the jumping isn't massive. Nope, it's pretty slow. It's a pretty close one. So once you've collected however many scans you want, note the system that you're leaving because you don't want to be going right over it again, and then jump to somewhere that you can sell that data to. Okay, and this one's very close, so we're going to jump straight to it. Don't forget to scan as you drop in. Now this time you don't need to fuel scoop. When you're in your drop-in system, I call it, you don't need to fuel scoop because you're going to be able to buy it at the station. If you're a bit cheap, you can always not bother. But that's entirely up to you. Now the only thing is, I've just realised, is that this station I'm going to drop into is only an orbital, and orbitals I don't think you can sell cartography data there, but we'll see. It'll still be highlighted, it'll still be there in the screen, so I can still show you which one it is anyway, even if I can't actually sell mine. But that's why I think it's always best to have your home system just until you get until you've made your money, and then you can scrap it and find somewhere else that you like. Okay, so we're getting close to that 7-second mark. Try not to forget that, otherwise you're going to do the loop of shame, where you're going to fly past the station and wave goodbye to it as you come back around the other side. And you really don't want to be doing that all the time, just because it's time consuming, and if you're losing something in time, you're losing money. So we're going to drop into Vázquez de Coronado, sorry. It's a nice ringed, I'm assuming it's a gas giant, but it might not be that colour. It's huge rings there. Now don't forget, I know there'll probably be people saying, well, I want to do fighting and stuff like that. Look, the ship builds out there and there's videos out there to help you fight. I'm looking at the fastest way for you to get to 0 to however many hundreds of millions you can make from exploration with the Road to Riches. Is the Road to Riches exciting? No, it's not. But it's going to give you more money to buy a ship, and you don't have to complete the whole Road to Riches. Can't remember when I stopped. There is a point when you think, well, I've got a fair bit of money now, I can actually just kit out a ship and do what I want to do for the short term. Okay, so we're about to drop in. Okay, fly to that 6 kilometer point. Request docking. Look to whichever pad's lit up, which I think is at the top here. Mind you, there was another one just lit up there, so I'll have to double check it, but I'm pretty sure it's the top one. It looks like it is from here. Yeah, there's the top one, it's not the bottom one. On EDDB.io, if you actually put the orbital name in there, you can actually see a schematic of it. It tells you how to actually approach it. It's pretty handy. Like I've said before, you've got 10 minutes to land, and after a while it's going to take you nowhere near that, but just use that time when you're first getting into the game to just get used to how everything works, you know. Okay, so again, you don't have to dock inside. If you're in open, I would do it. If you're in private or solo, I wouldn't bother. You can do everything from outside anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. Oops. Okay, now when you're here, it is available. You're going to go to Universal Cartographies, and then it'll say sell page, and you'll have tons of data in there, hopefully. You sell it, and it goes straight to your bank balance. Okay, now the last system I couldn't put in there because you have to be a certain distance. I think it's 20 plus light years in order to sell the data. But I mean, that doesn't really matter. If you have a couple that you can't sell, it's okay. But here's what we're looking at now. You're not going to do all 500 jumps in your Sidewinder. That would be pretty ridiculous. Okay, so what you kind of want to do is wait for, scan a fair few systems. I would say, just so that you're not wasting your time getting in and out of your home system or whatnot, is I would say at least try and scan 50 objects first. If you really want to push it, you can probably do 30, but I would go with 50. And then you're going to be able to buy this thing if you want, or it's Big Brother, but you can buy either as it goes. This is a Diamondback Scout. You can buy this when you have as little as 500,000. So I mean, if you wanted to do more, I don't know, more data runs until you can buy it, then so be it. It's whatever you want to, whichever way you want to do it. Okay. And this thing has a bigger jump range. I can't remember what its jump range is actually. I think it's around 11 light years or something at the very base of it. But if you swap in the components from your Sidewinder, you'll probably get a bigger jump range, but okay. And then but I would wait, and I'll be honest with you, I would wait until you can afford to buy the Diamondback Explorer, because if you enjoy exploration, you'll be able to keep that ship like I have done mine forever. And that only costs 2 million, so you're really not gonna have to go very far. Now the good thing about this one is right at the beginning it has a 14 light year jump, and in actuality you can just buy an extra a bigger frameshift drive and you'll have that really high, and this thing allows you to get back to the bubble much quicker after you've scanned stuff. So and this one, I've still got my original one and I've never even considered selling it, so I do all my exploration in it. And this truly is an explorer ship, and it feels like an explorer ship when you're in it. So that's that one. And what I'm actually going to do is, because this is pretty much the end of this video, I'm going to sacrifice my Sidewinder just to show you my Diamondback. Realised I wasn't in game there. So I'm going to fly away from the... that gas giant looks great from that angle. Take off my landing gear. I'm going to fly away from this station. And then we're going to sacrifice this ship. Now don't ever do this unless it's an absolute necessity, because any data you've got on board you lose, so you don't get paid for it. So don't think you can sacrifice your ship while you're out and then come back and sell your data. It doesn't work like that. Okay? Okay, so I'll come back to here and pick the current Sidewinder. because it really doesn't matter to me about that. Okay, and then I'm quickly going to go into Starport Services. Oh, I can't do it in this one. Never mind. Okay, because I've landed here. I totally forgot that. So that was a waste of money, but only 20 grand or something. Okay, so that's the video. If you want to see me flying around in my Diamondback Explorer, like and subscribe to the stream, please. And the next time I'm out in the black, you'll be able to come see me bezzing around in my Diamondback. Look, have good fun exploring. Have good fun making that money. And I really hope these videos were helpful. If they were, drop by our Discord and say hello. That's all in the show notes below. Okay, take care. 9-7.